If you feel like you put in tons of effort to get results with your health and fitness, and you just feel like the results aren't matching the amount of effort that you're putting in, this video is going to be for you. So in my gym career, I made a couple big discoveries in my first 2 years of being a personal trainer in the gym, working one-on-one with clients. And since then I've almost done 16,000 professional paid hours working one-on-one with adults to help them achieve their weight loss, their health goals, their muscle building goals. And these things were things I really had to learn the hard way earlier on in my career. And I want to share these things with you guys today to make sure that you guys aren't doing these things to shoot yourself in the foot, that it's actually, to be honest, they're just not worth your effort. And the only time you would ever justify doing one of these things is if it just, for some reason, works better for you. But what I found from working, over 14 years, almost 16,000 hours professionally with clients, is that these things don't work for most of you. They're going to work for a small percentage of you, and if that's you, cool. But odds are, if you're here listening to this right now, they're not working for you because you're not getting the results you want. So on that note, I appreciate you being here, and let's get rocking. So the first thing that really is not worth the effort, that won't give you the results you want, if you are looking for a toned, strong, energetic body. If you want a toned or defined, strong, lean, energetic body, this is going to be the first thing that a lot of you are going to do that you absolutely can't do. What do you think that is? Well, number one, it's cutting carbs. You guys, carb cutting, I've tried it myself. I did it with tons of clients in the start of my career. When I noticed that I was hemorrhaging clients in my first year and a half, and they weren't getting the weight loss results they wanted, they weren't gaining muscle like they wanted, I realized that telling them to cut carbs was backfiring. And, innocently, it was early in my career. I didn't understand the full depth of the importance of carbs to your body, to your performance, to your strength, to your muscle gain, to the tone or definition of your body, to your muscular performance in the gym. I didn't understand that fully. And I quickly understood that when I started losing clients, or when clients were not getting the results they wanted, and I thought I was doing the best thing. So the reason why you guys don't want to cut carbs is carbs are the preferred energy source for our bodies, okay? So carbs are the preferred energy source for our body. If there are carbs in our bloodstream or stored in our muscles or stored in our liver, our body is going to use those preferentially to propel us during any short burst or what's called anaerobic type exercise. Now, I'm not going to get too sciencey on this one, but I just want to tell you guys that what that means is when you're not doing cardio, basically. So for non-cardio based exercise, some sports, and specifically weight training. So many of you who are trying to get a more toned, athletic, energetic, strong body are going to want to leverage weight training. By the way, if you aren't already weight training and you want a toned body, and you want a muscular or lean body, you want to lose weight, body fat specifically, you got to be doing weight training. So, but a lot of you guys are doing weight training, but then you're cutting your carbs, and you're wondering why you're not getting stronger, why you're not improving, why you're not looking more defined, why you might be losing weight, but not looking more toned. And that's confusing to you. You're like, well, the weight's going down, but I'm not looking more toned. What's going on? Well, it's because you're cutting carbs. Well, one of the reasons is because you're cutting carbs. So carbs are the preferred energy source for our body, and without them, what you're going to find with your workouts is that you're not going to be able to progress. You're not going to be able to push yourself with enough effort and with enough intensity to get close to what's called the point of failure, or muscular failure, which results in a more defined or lean looking body. And so the number one factor when it comes to getting results from your weight workouts is being able to push closer to failure. That's where the visible results come. Sure, you can get healthier, you can get a little bit stronger not doing that, which are the benefits from other types of working out, styles of weightlifting. But being able to push yourself close to that failure point relies a lot heavier on having adequate energy in your body. And if you're cutting carbs, you're not going to have that adequate energy, you're not going to be able to push yourself to that extent, and you're ultimately going to be robbing yourself of results. I'm not saying that you can't get results if you cut carbs. I'm just saying that it's going to be way easier. You're going to be able to get much better results if you have at least moderate carbs in your diet. Okay? And what are some of the carbs I do recommend, guys? Like really, fruit, oatmeal, bread, rice, potatoes, sweet potatoes, those kind of things are my top recommendations for carbs. Beans, lentils are up there too. So those kind of things are some of my carb recommendations. When I say carbs, I don't mean ice cream, pizza, chocolate, French fries. Those are ultra processed foods that are high in both carbs and fats and often get wrongly labeled carbs. Like when people say, oh, I eat too many carbs. No, you eat too much ice cream. That's too much fat. That's too much sugar. In a potato, yeah, it's a starchy tuber, it's a starchy vegetable, but it doesn't have much fat naturally. It doesn't have much sugar naturally. So when you're saying carbs and you're applying that to ultra processed foods, be careful. Okay? So when you start including more carbs in your diet, what you're going to feel, if you've been cutting carbs for a while, what you're going to feel is you might see the weight come up a little bit because, well, when you don't eat carbs, your body's not storing as much water. Not going to ramble on about that right now, but you might notice your weight come up, but don't worry, it's just water. And it's only going to come up in the first week or so, and then it'll stabilize, and that is what your real body weight is. Because a lot of you guys who've been carb starving, avoiding carbs, cutting carbs, you're at a fake body weight. You're at a dehydrated body weight. So your real body weight will come back, and after that, it'll stop. But what you'll notice in the gym is that your weights are going to start going up. Your competency with your exercise is going to start going up. You're going to start feeling like you can push closer to a higher effort level. You're going to be able to basically gas your muscles out. Okay? And that's what you need to see the definition in your body, to see that tone in your body, because tone and definition and shape literally is your muscle tissue. It's your muscle mass. Okay? And if you don't have it, it's really hard to look toned. You have to get to really low body fat percentages to look toned if you don't have a lot of muscle. Whereas if you have a little bit more muscle, you'll look toned at higher body fat percentages. Okay? So that's number one. The second thing is what I call burn workouts. And burn workouts are like HIIT, interval training, circuit training. The style of workouts that are focused on keeping the heart rate high or not stopping, taking short rests and getting winded rather than pushing closer to failure and lifting heavier weights over time. Okay? There's a big difference between these two things. So if you've been doing weight training, but you're doing HIIT and circuit training and interval training, I hate to tell you, but that's when your effort's going to be really high and your payback is going to be really low in most cases. Okay? Not saying that doesn't work, not saying it doesn't do anything. No, it's going to be better than a lot of things for your health, for your energy, sure. But you're at greater risk of burning yourself out, a little bit greater risk of overuse injuries, which are like from doing something repeatedly too much, like the same movement over and 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 over again for 1,000 reps in a workout, especially when you're not paying attention to the quality of your movement. You're paying attention to just keeping the heart rate high. Listen, those style of workouts, I tried it. I did it with a ton of clients. I would push clients to the point where they were absolutely destroyed. I would push clients to the point where they couldn't breathe, they were on the floor, they couldn't stop because their heart rate was so high. Listen, guys, the clients didn't get the results. And as soon as I ditched the burn workouts in favor of typical strength training and weight training, my clients started getting amazing physical transformations. And I had a client that told me, I was the 10th trainer that she worked with. The 10th trainer. She was a ridiculous athlete, had run Boston marathons, things like that. I was her 10th trainer, and she got the best physical transformation with me than any of our other trainers because I helped focus her getting strong for her daily life. Her days of running Boston marathons were done. Okay? But she was stuck to that style of training. The style of training she learned in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. Okay? She was about late 40s, early 50s. So Anyway, what I want to tell you is that style of training, circuit training, HIIT training, that kind of training, if you're looking for a toned, lean body to lose body fat, swap that out in favor of strength and conventional weight training, where you do 2 or 3 sets with really high effort with, at least on a little exercise like a biceps or shoulder exercise, maybe 90 seconds to 2 minutes rest. But in most cases, the human studies are showing we want at least 2 minutes of rest. Okay? And if you're a brand new beginner, maybe you don't need 2 minutes of rest. But with time, as your weights go up, you're going to need 2 minutes of rest. And if you're one of the people that's saying, well, I get bored with 2 minutes, then you're not training heavy enough. Your weight's not heavy enough. You're not training with enough effort. You should literally require 2 minutes rest after your set, or you're just not lifting heavy enough. I'm sorry, guys, you're not. And that's the reason you're not getting the results. And, some people in the past have kind of put up a wall when I said that, well, I don't want to do it. Listen, do you want the results or do you not want the results? And I'm not saying that you can never use HIIT or never use circuit training. It just shouldn't be the emphasis of your training program. You can still do it once a week or, once in a while if you want to, but your focus should ultimately be on 2 to 3 sets of each weight training exercise, 4 to 6 weight training exercises per workout, with at least 90 seconds rest on like a small exercise, but at least 2 minutes rest on a big exercise like a squat or a chest press or an overhead press or a lunge. Okay? So that's a big one. I learned the hard way. I lost clients. And you guys, I'm not just speaking out of my ass here. This is, things I've tested on myself, but also things I've used with a ton of clients. And I will tell you this, when I stopped telling my clients to cut carbs, when I stopped doing HIIT circuit training workouts to burn fat, burn calories from my clients, and switched to conventional weight training with a moderate carbohydrate diet, I became the most demanded trainer in my gym. Of course, I got along well with my clients too. I built great relationships and friendships with my clients, but my clients got results. And as a result of this, I had the highest renewal and retention rate in my whole region, and I had a waiting list for people to work with me. Okay, guys? There's reasons why, we learn from our mistakes. And I learned quickly that those 2 strategies, and including this next thing, are things that just weren't going to bode well for my business and are going to, if you stop doing these things, you're going to get better results. So that leads me to number 3 and the final thing, which is changing up your workouts all of the time. It could be following the no plan. In other words, you're not even on a training plan. You're just doing random stuff. It could be muscle confusion, bro. It could be whatever justification you have for changing up your workouts all the time. This, unfortunately, is holding you back and you're putting in a ton of effort and you're not getting the results from it. Why? Because our bodies respond to a repetition, to a repeated stimulus. We have to do something over and over again for our body to be forced to adapt. We have to give our body a reason to adapt and change. And when we repeat a workout over and over again with the same exercises or very similar exercises with the same demands, it allows us to keep increasing our weight and getting stronger and building more muscle and increasing our proficiency. And at points, yes, improving our form and technique as well. So that's why that's so important. So if we're constantly changing it up, we lose that effect. We're virtually taking our ability to progress over time and just chopping the limbs right out from the bottom of it. Okay? So that's why it doesn't work, guys. That's why it's just an inefficient way to train. And that's why so many people in the gym are constantly in the gym, but it's one of the reasons why they're not getting the results they want. So if that is you can't be changing up your workouts all the time. Now, there's nuance to this. Every what's called a cycle or a phase of training, if you have an actual training program, like I give my clients in the Complete Fit Coaching program, my one-on-one coaching, if you have an actual training program, it follows a certain rhythm. It follows a certain rhythm where you have cycles or phases sometimes called blocks in our industry of training, where you're doing a group of exercises on Mondays, you're doing a group of exercises on Wednesdays, for example, and maybe another group of exercises on Fridays. Just give you guys a general example. And for a, usually anywhere from 6 to 8 week period, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays look the same. Maybe there's slight variations in your repetitions and stuff like that, depending on the type of program you're doing and what your goal is. Maybe there's not. But the most important factor here, without going into all the training parameters and how to be a personal trainer virtually, is that the fact is you need to have those same workouts or repeating the same exercises for 6 to 8 weeks on average. In some cases, we can go as low as 4 weeks if it's like a heavy, intense strength phase, but most of you guys are not going to be doing that style of training. Most of you guys are training to lose a little bit of weight, to get a toned body, to feel more comfortable, to feel more confident in yourself, to just live a good daily life, a good quality of life, and be proud of yourself. Be proud of what you're putting into yourself, and be a role model or mentor for your family and your kids and your friends. Most of you guys, that's what you want. You just want to live a better life and feel good. But if that's you, you probably aren't going to be that person who's doing 4-week strength cycles. Most of you are going to be doing 6 to 8 weeks. Even some people that are really pushing to gain a lot of muscle might even be doing as much as 10 to 12 weeks in a phase. But I'm just going to give you rule of thumb for you guys. You got to be repeating the same workouts for at least 6 weeks. Okay? That means every Monday is the same. Every Wednesday is the same. Every Friday is the same. And if you have a type of job or demands in your life where you can't lock workouts to certain days, that's fine too. You could just label it workout A, workout B, workout C, and just keep cycling them. ABC, ABC, ABC. So it doesn't really matter what day you're on. It just matters that you follow in that order. And every workout A is going to be the same as last workout A, is going to be the same as the workout A in 3 weeks. And what that allows you to do, and I recommend doing, is tracking either in your phone or in a piece of paper, in a little book, the old-fashioned way, is track your weights and reps that you're doing for every single exercise. Because if today you're doing a barbell back squat, and next Sunday or Monday you're doing a goblet squat, and the next Monday you're doing a leg press, and the next Monday you're doing a different machine leg press, how are you supposed to know where you're improving? How are you supposed to dominate an exercise so you know that you can up the weight? And you can increase your strength and keep pushing your muscle to a point where it's really legitimately getting challenged. You don't know that. So you have to repeat to be able to get that feeling, okay, I'm now dominating this weight at this rep range. Now I can go up. Okay, guys? So that's the biggest thing. Number 3 is changing up the workout plans, or being on the no plan, changing up your workouts every time you go to the gym. Guys, don't do that. It's backfiring on you guys. And that, along with the other 2 things I mentioned, are 3 of the biggest things and mistakes I made earlier in my career that were robbing my clients of results, that were making us feel like we had to put way more effort in. And ultimately, it was hurting my business because I was hemorrhaging clients. And once I solved for these 3 things, I started, like I said, my clients started getting better results, and I started having a much more successful business. So these are a little bit of insights from a personal trainer, someone who was in the gym for over a decade and has now been online or split in online for the last 4.5, almost 5 years. So, guys, these are things I want you to take to heart. Let me know if you have any questions on these things. Drop them in the comments. I also want to make sure that you guys, if you're interested in chatting to me about coaching and seeing what that's going to look like, if you want to work one-on-one with me, or if you're interested in getting involved with my insiders community, those are different ways that you get more direct access to me. Make sure you send me a message over on Instagram right now, but I'm also going to put a link down in the description where you guys can directly apply to work with me one-on-one with my coaching, as well as enter or get access to my insiders members area, which has workout plans, which has live trainings, recorded trainings, good, awesome, lightly gamified community that I just started up. So yeah, check out the description for those links. See you guys soon.